The Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAAC, would be meeting today in Abuja to allocate revenue to the 3 tiers of government based on the sharing metrics. The 3 tiers of government, the federal, state, and local governments, are expected to share 1.159 trillion naira for the month of July, due in part to the fall of official exchange rate of the naira. This is nearly triple of the 786.1 billion naira shared in June and May of 2023. Statutory collections comprises 1.7 trillion naira of the federally collected revenues, followed by 293 billion naira from VAT and 12 billion naira from electronic money transfer charges. FAAC comprises the Minister of Finance as chairman, all state commissioners of finance, state accountant generals, the accountant general of the Federation, and the permanent secretaries of the Ministry of Finance.
I never know you honor me this way. I never know you will honor me this way. You honor me this way. Thank you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You will honor me this way. I never knew you will honor me this way. Oh. I never knew you will honor me this way. You honor me this way. Thank you. You will never change.
The FCT Minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, is in the news again. Listen up. This is not your usual news blurb. This is a wake-up call. For too long, Nigerians have watched money vanish under one excuse or another. But right now, we have a landmark demand, N14 trillion in fuel subsidy savings that passed through state coffers is being challenged. Who got it? Where did it go? And most importantly, why haven't we seen the results in our hospitals, roads, and schools? If you care about accountability, if you care about seeing your taxes or public revenue actually turn into public goods, do me a favor now, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss further updates. Drop your state in the comments. I'll try to follow the records for your state next. It all begins mid-2023 when the federal government scrapped the fuel subsidy, a move bitterly felt by every Nigerian. The logic was the funds once used to prop up subsidized fuel would instead enter the Federation account and be shared via FAAC, that's the revenue sharing mechanism, to states, LGAs, and the federal government. Since then, states and the FCT have reportedly received trillions of naira as their share of those subsidy savings. But here's the rub. SERAP, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, now says that roughly N14 trillion of these funds must be accounted for with full transparency, or state executives, including Governor Wike, FCT, may face legal action. The demand is straightforward. State governors and the FCT minister should document exactly how much they got, list the projects or programs funded with that money, publish status or completion reports, open procurement records, contractors, amounts, and ensure audits, and even invite anti-corruption agencies like EFCC and ICPC to monitor the spending. SERAP has given a 7-day ultimatum from receipt of their FOI request for states to respond, else they'll pursue legal enforcement. Now, let's talk about why this is so explosive. Many Nigerians have felt the pain of subsidy removal, rising transport fares, hikes in food prices, difficulty in maintaining livelihoods. The political bargain was, you bear the cost now, but the benefits will come in better public services. But in many states, citizens are asking, where are those benefits? You'll hear road projects that never reach your neighborhood, health centers with staff shortages, schools without equipment, and local governments borrowing just to pay salaries. Against this backdrop, the N14 trillion demand is not academic. It's deeply personal. Yet some counter-arguments might emerge. Some projects are multi-year. You can't see them yet. Fair. But that demands that states publish timelines, milestones, and progress metrics. We needed the funds to pay off state debts. Perhaps legitimate, but which debts? At what times? And was that the highest priority? Recurrent costs had to be covered, salaries, operations, again valid, but these costs must be visible, justified, and documented. Citizens deserve to know where every naira went, not just general statements. Transparency is not optional. It's a foundational demand. When public policy imposes pain, the rewards must be visible, measurable, and verifiable. What should you, as a citizen or viewer, watch out for in the coming days? Which states respond? Some governors might publish full reports. Others might dodge or issue vague statements. Quality of responses. Mere numbers are insufficient. We need receipts, photos, project site visits, audits, independent audits and verification. CSOs and journalists will be crucial in digging into the claims. Public reaction and pressure. Protest, petition, media pressure. When people press, governments often respond. If you belong to a community or have local insight, projects you've seen, funds that seem to vanish, share in the comments. I'll try to follow up your state by name. Why this matters to every Nigerian is simple. It tests whether our public funds remain public. It tests whether our governors will treat citizens as partners or as bystanders. If the N14 trillion is quietly buried in ghost projects, padded contracts, or political patronage, then subsidy reform becomes not a solution, but a hollow promise. But there is hope. If just a few states comply properly, transparency, open auditing, public dashboards, you set a precedent. Others will be pressured to follow. That kind of shift can change norms from they will hide it to you must show it. I know I've given you a heavy dose already. There's more to dig. Case studies from particular states, comparisons with past subsidy reinvestment programs like SHOP, risk of diversion, legal precedents, and possible citizen action. So now let's take this N14 trillion conversation deeper into the states, the politics, and the lessons it's screaming to teach all of us. And please, before we continue, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. That's how you support genuine Nigerian voices, bringing you verified, no bias, and ad-friendly news you can trust. Now imagine this. After subsidy removal, states started receiving fatter allocations through FAAC. The governors, including those who once complained of empty treasuries, so they suddenly had more financial breathing room. We're talking about extra billions hitting each state's account monthly. That's why this N14 trillion number isn't random. It's a sum that grew quietly month after month across 36 states and the FCT. But here's the funny, or rather worrying part. In many states, the reality on the ground has not changed. Citizens are asking the same question. Where is the impact? No new clinics, no job programs, no free education improvements, no real relief for those who took the hardest hit after subsidy removal. Take a drive across Nigeria today, from Rivers to Zamfara, from Lagos to Adamawa. And what you hear from people is the same. We're paying more for everything, but we can't see what the sacrifice achieved. That's why SERAP's voice is echoing nationwide. They are saying enough is enough. Publish the records. Let Nigerians see how each state used their share of the so-called fuel subsidy savings. And it's not just about Nyesom Wike as the FCT minister. SERAP included him because the FCT receives its own FAAC allocations. The group is also holding every governor to the same standard. It's about fairness and accountability, not politics. Now, in fairness, some governors might argue that the money was used for capital projects that take time, For example, road networks, hospital equipment, procurement, school construction, or power projects. But you see, that excuse doesn't work anymore in the age of open data. If you claim to have spent billions on infrastructure, show the records. Publish photos, invoices, names of contractors, and let the public visit those sites. Transparency, my people, is the only antidote to suspicion, because Nigerians are tired of hearing about projects on paper. They want to see them, touch them, and benefit from them. Let's also not forget that transparency builds confidence. When citizens trust that their leaders are accountable, they're more patient and understanding during tough reforms. But when leadership goes silent while hardship grows, people feel cheated. Now, SERAP's demand is not just a letter, it's a warning. The group gave the states a specific deadline to respond to their Freedom of Information (FOI) requests. After that, they plan to take legal action to compel transparency. If it gets to court, some state officials might have to stand in the dock to explain how those funds were spent. That's not just a media scare, it's a real possibility. But here's what I want you to reflect on. This isn't only about N14 trillion, it's about trust, the most expensive currency in governance. When citizens stop believing that their leaders are using money wisely, democracy weakens. And for Wike, the FCT minister, known for his boldness and his own controversies, this call out adds more spotlight. People are watching closely. How will he respond? Will he publish figures for the FCT? Will he show evidence of the projects carried out? Or will this turn into another blame game between federal and state politics? Time will tell. Let's be real though, the call for transparency isn't easy. Some states lack digital infrastructure to record and publish spending in real time. Others may have used funds legitimately, but failed to document properly. Still, none of these reasons justify silence. Nigerians deserve open books, not closed doors. So let's ask the real question. What happens next? If SERAP pushes forward and the courts compel the governors and Wike to disclose spending, we might see, for the first time in years, a full picture of how public funds are moving. It could expose not only wastage, but also best practices, states that actually used their allocations properly. And that's something the public deserves to know. And here's something I want you to do. Yes, you're watching or listening right now. Think about your own state. Since the subsidy removal, what visible project or improvement can you point to that show the benefit of higher state revenue? Is there anything new, or does everything still look the same? Drop your answer in the comments below. Let's compare notes, state by state. Your observations can help expose the truth or highlight where progress is being made. Now, on the political side, this issue could heat up quickly. The 2027 elections are approaching, and narratives about corruption, transparency, and accountability will dominate campaigns. Any governor or minister seen to be hiding information about N14 trillion could face serious political backlash. So this case might become a turning point for Nigeria's next political wave. But let's not lose hope. There are honest leaders out there, and there are states doing real work. Some state governments have already started publishing partial expenditure reports. Others are opening up procurement portals. That's a step in the right direction. But Nigerians need consistency, not occasional transparency, but institutional transparency. Imagine a future where every Nigerian can log onto a state portal, type the name of a project, and see who the contractor is, how much was paid, and when the job will be completed. That's the Nigeria we deserve. A transparent Nigeria where every naira can be tracked like a GPS signal. And that's why you, the people, must stay involved. You don't need to be in government to demand accountability. You can write FOI requests, join online campaigns, tag your governor on social media, or even attend town hall meetings and ask simple but powerful questions. How much did our state receive from FAAC this month? What did we spend it on? Where are the records? Keep the pressure alive, because leadership without accountability is like a car without brakes. It may look fine, but it's heading for a crash. So as we wrap up this gist, let's make it clear. This N14 trillion issue is not just a trending headline. It's a test of integrity for Nigeria's political class. It's a mirror reflecting whether the promises made after subsidy removal were real or just talk. And as Nigerians, we must not lose focus. Because when the people keep quiet, corruption gets louder. So, what do you think? Should SERAP take all the governors to court if they refuse to respond? Or do you think some states genuinely spend the money well, but just need time to prove it? Drop your opinion in the comments. I want to hear from you. Also, before you leave, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this gist so more Nigerians can know what's going on. The more people talk about it, the harder it becomes for the truth to be buried. This is a developing story, and I'll keep tracking every update, from the governor's replies to any court actions and public responses. So stay tuned, stay smart, and keep your eyes on your leaders, because transparency starts with us demanding it. Thanks for watching, my people. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next gist.